The Padres have had a weird season. Like, really, really weird. And we have the numbers to prove it.
You are Locked On Padres, your daily San Diego Padres podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, as always, with sometimes the most, Javier Reyes. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The biggest stage in world soccer is here. Let there be goals on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Now, on today's episode, we are talking numbers. We are talking stats. Manny Machado, bum. Fernando Tatis Jr., bum, because planets don't make sense. Apparently. Astrology, that's what we're talking about. Some stuff about the Padres bullpen. Mason Miller being ridiculous. How ridiculous? You'll find out how. But I am being joined by, before we get into that, my guest for today's show, my good friend Peyton Genus. You might know him on TikTok/Instagram. Big League Analysis. Does awesome short form baseball content. Is also an editor for justbaseball.com. Peyton, man, you've been on the show before, but how you doing, man? What's changed? You still doing all right over there?
I'm doing great, man. I'm very excited to talk about some Padres baseball. You know, I really appreciate a weird team. I don't think there's many teams that are weirder than the San Diego Padres this year, on and off the field, and maybe even in the cosmos.
Yeah, literally the cosmos. And we're going to be talking about that on today's show because this Padres team, look, we're going to use these stats to kind of put, I think, the season in perspective. For some people. And don't worry, we're not going to have those stats that, I mean, maybe some of them will come off that way, where it's like this player is hitting 400 when specifically America is attacked by a foreign nation at night games when they're playing away. It's not going to be anything like that, but we are going to have some fun stats to just kind of capture the season. And you mentioned the cosmos, and I feel like that's where we got to start first.
Yes.
Right? And that's with Fernando Tatis Jr. You can kick us off because this guy was probably the biggest baseball nerd storyline in terms of on-field play for basically the first 2 months of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously was anomalous, which I don't know if I pronounced that word right, but I hopefully your viewers give me some grace. We've never, quite frankly, just simply put, we've never seen a player hit the ball as hard as Tatis was that consistently without hitting a homer. It was like that one playoff game with the Rockets when they missed all those threes. Yeah. Obviously, it was weird because they missed all the threes because the Rockets are a good three-point shooting team. But it was also weird because how do you even miss that many shots in a row? That just doesn't make any sense. That's what Tatis' season felt like for the first 8 weeks. How did he not accidentally hit a homer with how hard he was hitting the ball? It didn't make any sense. But as you were alluding to before, this is a comment I got on April 24th. I'm pretty sure the date was. A random account commented on my page. Tatis is screwed this year because his Mercury's in retrograde, I think they said, or Saturn's in retrograde.
Yeah.
And he might be able to turn his season around starting on May 18th, but it's going to be hard for him. And I thought that was weird because that's an awfully specific prediction. However, the random commenter was on the nose.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Since May 18th, folks, Fernando Tatis Jr. is slashing .348 with a 400 on base, a .485 slugging percentage. So that's the other thing. It's not just getting base hits. He's also slugging the ball a decent amount. And that's a 152 WRC plus. He has 3 homers over that stretch. And by the way, just to add on, the 3 homers have each been really cool. His first home run of the year also coincides with the day that one of my best friends gets engaged. The second home run is a walk-off home run that the Padres desperately needed to get a win. And then the most recent one, just the other day, was a game-tying home run. I believe it was in the 8th or it was the 7th inning against one of MLB's best teams, the Braves. So, but like it's like you said, it's not just that he started turning it on. It's the fact that, there was no injury. He didn't miss any time. And everyone was looking at this, and there was a period, and of course, there's more to it, right? You got to pull the ball, you got to do all that. But there was a period where this guy was literally hitting the ball harder than some of the biggest names in the sport. Shohei Ohtani, nothing. Aaron Judge, nothing. He was literally hitting the ball just purely hard hit rate, harder than those guys. And he not only was not hitting for home runs, but he also just wasn't playing well at first. Like it says a lot that despite being on this rampage over the past month, that Tatis's numbers are still basically like average on the whole of the season. But Peyton, man, I'm glad that he's back, but that was one of the weirdest stretches that I've ever seen from a baseball player genuinely in my entire life.
Well, it's also interesting. I know we're touching this later, but it was kind of a reverse of what Manny Machado's been doing this season,
Hmm.
where Machado's no offensive production, but the homers are there. He's on
Hmm.
pace for 25 ish. Where Tatis has the best batting average of his career, if I'm not mistaken, right
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
283, which is roughly, I think it's the best average of his career, or
it's
at least.
officially over. 2021
Yeah,
was this high at 282. I guess you could count 2019, but that was only 84 games. But even still,
regardless, like this is the best from a batting average perspective we've seen him at. And I will say, as a glass half full situation, the fact that Tatis didn't homer for 2 months and still has an above average WRC plus is kind of impressive in itself.
hmm
Like it's a weird thing because it's like, if you just take away such a key part of his game, which is the homers, even in recent years, there's still 25 a year roughly, or
hmm
over 20, which does a lot for your OPS. The fact that he's still an above average hitter with none of that essentially is kind of impressive. And I know Tatis Senior wasn't it like a whole thing? He was like,
yeah.
Junior needs to learn how to be an actual hitter, and he was referring to batting average in that sense. I guess he
Mhm.
may have taken that advice too much to heart.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing that happened here. And maybe it was a degree of the patience, right? This was a guy that didn't walk a lot, or at least I should say not didn't walk a lot. He struck out a lot more. His strikeout rate basically back when he was this, I feel, he's a 150 WRC plus guy. I think he was a guy that everyone was like, this is Ken Griffey Jr. And instead he's just like Andrew Jones, which is still freaking sick, by the way. But it's this guy who has been carried a lot in previous years by his defensive value, platinum glove winner, and all that sort of stuff. But what we've seen this year is maybe he's starting to turn around because he is slugging. He's hitting for extra base hits. He's starting to pull the ball a little bit more. He just had one of the most bizarre starts we've ever seen. And I actually talked about this with our mutual friend, Aram Litton, about a month or so ago, talking about like just his mechanics and everything. Maybe too many people are in his ear. It's going to be something that I think, while he's clearly turned it around, he's going to be good this season. At the very minimum, I think he's going to be basically what we saw from him last year. But there is a conversation to be had, I think, in the offseason, maybe even over the All-Star break a little bit, with him to be like, look, man, if you're hitting the ball this hard, and we've seen you do it before, and I know a lot of people, they want to bring up PEDs. Go check out my episode with Arm. It's the highest viewed episode on this channel, so you'll be able to find it easy. I think that narrative's stupid, but I'm curious to see where they go from there. I think, and see if they can kind of get him back to being, hey, I'll take a 260 average if it means you could hit for 35 again. And I'm curious to see, especially with some of the declines that this Padres team has seen. I think that that's going to be a really, really interesting conversation to be had with him, because I really think that it's like you mentioned with his dad, maybe it's hitting coaches, Steven Souza Jr. under a lot of fire for Padres fans. Let me tell you, somehow hasn't gotten fired yet. Shout out Carlos Mendoza, he got fired just as the time of this recording, but it's just an organization that really needs to look in the mirror and say, why do we keep having weird offensive stories? Xander Bogaerts being bad,
Yeah.
Jackson Merrill being bad, even Juan Soto, when he first got to this team, struggled for a couple months. And of course, he's Juan Soto, he pulled through. But it's a conversation. So it says not just a lot about his season this year, not just about the Padres season, but dare I say, about the organization as a whole.
Yeah, and I wanted to piggyback off something you said, because this kind of leads into another thing I had about Tatis. It's that, and I guess this also can relate to his career trajectory and stuff, is that this season, do you know who the best second baseman by WRC plus is with at least 150 plate appearances while playing the position?
Is it Tatis?
Tatis at 138. In
Yeah.
38 games at second base, it's a 138 WRC plus and a 1.6 F4. At 45 games in right field, it's a 71 WRC plus and a WAR of 0. Craig Stammen at the beginning of the year said something interesting when he put Tatis at second in the Colorado series, which was in San Diego. He said he thinks that him playing second could have him be more loose, more engaged in the game. That's clearly a thing. I could be coincidence. Yeah. I looked into the numbers. The peripheral stats are kind of similar. I mean, when he plays right, I mean, he's hitting the ball harder, but I don't think that's a weird thing that doesn't serve Tatis well. But the fact that he's genuinely an all-star second baseman this year, the defense has been really good at second as well. But in right, the defense has kind of been regressed a bit in comparison to the platinum glove-ness of his game. And the bat has been atrocious. The only right fielder worse this season while playing right field, it's a key point, is Adolis Garcia. In 2026, you don't want to be in Adolis Garcia conversations.
No, you do not. No, you do not. Maybe in 2021, 23.
Yeah.
That was really fun. He was lit those years, man. That Rangers team was actually so fun. Remember that Corey Seager home run in like the bottom of the 10th? Man, that was fun. But when it comes to conversations you do want to be in, folks, I got a really very, very, very special person to talk about. And that is our friends over at Cash App, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the thing with Cash App. They've got you covered when it comes to just making some money back, when it comes to all of your purchases and whatnot. And they give you a card, and they let you even personalize your card design. It can reflect your personality, whether you want to be Yankees fan like Peyton, if you just want it to be the Fangraphs homepage like Peyton, if you want it to be whatever I have, like the picture of Luffy in the background right here, whatever you want, you can kind of customize it to fit what you'd like. And what I really like about Cash App, of course, if you weren't up to speed already, it's a way to just be more than safe when you're spending and receiving money. With the card, you unlock a ton of perks. Without all the hidden fees, you could get different benefits. You could go to Sabrina Carpenter concerts early, just to name an example. Discounts on everyday purchases, popular brands. Add your card to your digital wallet to make your money move easier. Cash App also adds security to your money by declining suspicious and card transactions and sending you a notification to make sure the payment is really you. If your card is ever lost or stolen, you can lock it with just one tap in the app. Spend with confidence with the Cash App card today. Go check it out, guys. New Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use code CASHAPP10 in their profile at signup and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms apply. You'll go check it out with Cash App. But also, go check out, when it comes to buying tickets, Gametime, because there's nothing better than watching a Padres game, man. Even better when you get to watch it live in a great stadium. The excitement, the fans, the vibes. I've been there. Gaslamp, it's awesome. But the only problem is that getting tickets can be annoying. It really can be. It's a long grind, long queues, surprise fees, prices jumping at checkout. That's where Gametime comes in, giving fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. Super simple to use. The Gametime guarantee means you get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price you see. What you see is what you pay, period. They got a seat views feature. They got a zone deals feature. If you guys aren't familiar, you pick the section, and then Gametime picks a seat, and you save some money. You can follow your favorite team, get new alerts when new deals drop. It's great, guys. Take the guesswork and the stress out of buying MLB tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. And just like that, everybody, back into the second section of this podcast, continuing to talk about some stats and goodness. We talked a lot about Tatis, so enough of that man, that schmuck that he is. But now you did allude to Manny Machado, the reverse of Fernando Tatis Jr. And here's a crazy stat for you guys, ladies and gentlemen, the second one of the show. Manny Machado, among players with at least 10 home runs, he has the lowest batting average of all those players. You could go even further than that as well. If you want to look at WRC+, he's the second lowest, next to, I believe it is Salvador Perez, has the second lowest. It's impressive because we were just talking about a player who, despite hitting the ball really hard, despite having, a higher batting average, he's only got 3 home runs on the year, and at one point had 0. Manny Machado, that's all he's capable of doing, apparently, is hitting home runs, although has had a nice last week and a half. But Peyton, man, again, it just, Padres offense makes no sense this year.
Not at all. I also think it's, the thing with Machado is his home runs do look awesome. When Machado hits that lean back, what I'm talking about? When
the lean back,
lean back. Oh, the one in Texas like last week. Oh, that was awesome. But I wanted to throw this out there too, is that Machado has 14 homers right now and a 184 batting average. Let's give him a homer. Right? Let's just give him another homer. Let's say he had 15. If he hypothetically had 15, not only would he obviously still have the worst batting average among hitters with at least 15 homers, but the player with the second worst average in that hypothetical scenario would be Colson Montgomery at 219. So the fact that Manny Machado really is home run or bust right now, like to an insane degree. It's very bizarre. And his profile and everything isn't awesome. It's definitely regressed from previous years, but at least I guess it's not catastrophic. I think you can see someone like Machado heating up in the second half. I think he's had some slower starts in recent years, if I'm not mistaken. Like he's usually a July guy, like summer guy. I feel like, unless I could be mistaken. So maybe the hot streak is coming, but yes, right now it's weird.
Yeah, and I remember, like, if you want to just be, now granted this was back in 2017, but Manny Machado had just like the most average season ever that year. It got like, I remember like it was one of the first Fangraphs articles I ever read, like got so obscenely unlucky in the first half, like Tatis level. Like it was very, very weird. Ended up having a great second half, I believe, back in 2017. And now, granted, again, that was so long ago, and we're just hoping at this point that this guy could just be an average player. But if it does give you hope, it is Manny Machado. He's had weird stretches before, and hopefully he can kind of just get back on track, because at least he's showing you that there is still talent there. He's playing some good defense, but the Padres are really going to need him. But Peyton, what is your next stat that you got for us that is just wacky and silly and ridiculous?
I want to be positive. I know, obviously.
Okay, let's do it.
The first two conversations kind of more skewed negative, I'd say. It's more like, okay, what's going on here? Let's talk about Gavin Sheets. Ooh. I want to talk about Gavin Sheets because there's something with his game that I find interesting. This season, Gavin Sheets against starting pitchers is hitting 197 with a 652 OPS. This season, Gavin Sheets against relief pitching is hitting 267 with a 910 OPS. In the first 3 innings of the game, it's a 615 OPS. From innings 4 to 6, 647. From innings 7 to 9, the OPS is a shade under 1,000. He's a relief
pitcher merchant?
He's essentially Mason Miller with a bat. He's the best in the game in the late innings, and before that, he might as well not exist.
I mean, I appreciate it. Better late than never. I mean, it's been, and that's been also a story for the Padres all season. But it sounds like he's like the face of that. And what I mean by that is that the Padres, especially the first month of the season, they literally only won via comebacks in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. They had a crazy stat where it's basically like, in terms of run differential, they were like plus 29 in the 9th inning. They were plus 15 in the 7th inning. And then the first 4 innings, they were like -8. Like, it was crazy, like how much that they kept just making these comebacks. And you saw that happen this week against Atlanta, 4-run comeback in that one. You saw the walk-off hit by Manny Machado, right? Like, that's just been their story. Even to a degree, you even saw with the Rangers this past week. They had a couple of games where they had to come back. So that's just what they've been, the comeback kids. It's not sustainable, but it is pretty funny that Sheets himself has just been this dude who, I mean, there's a reason why everyone likes saying "Holy Sheets," and we've heard that call so many times, especially online.
He had 3 different go-ahead 3-run homers, 2 against the Rockies, 1 against the Brewers, or maybe I'm not 2 against. Was it 2 against the Rockies? 1 at Coors.
I think it was 2 against Colorado. I could be wrong though.
Okay, but
maybe
my point being, and to give you more context, his OPS plus in the first 3 innings of ball games is 70. His OPS plus in the last 3 innings of ball games is 177. So he's 107% better in the late stages of the game, like in terms of the OPS plus stat. Ridiculous.
I mean, you know what? Better late than never, as I always say, man. Better late than never. Unfortunately, the Padres can't do well against every team, and they are just a few games above 500 now. I know they beat the Braves, but it's just so funny that Gavin Sheets, who, by the way, got to give a shout out. Look, the White Sox have aura now, unfortunately, so I can't make fun of them as much as I was before, but a lot of former players for the White Sox doing some decent stuff right now. And Gavin Sheets, they got off of the scrap heap. So while I understand that AJ Preller has a lot of issues, gets buys a little bit too high, gives up too many prospects sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes to the detriment of the team, but he's made some decent bargain bin acquisitions before, whether it be this year with Walker Buehler, whether it be Jurickson Profar after being the worst qualified hitter in baseball. I understand that one's been a little bit tainted given recent developments with that man's career. And then Gavin Sheets, who had an 88 WRC plus his last year with the White Sox. They got him off waivers, and he immediately got better. And sure, he's a flawed batter in the sense that he just completely sells out for power sometimes. He will swing at a pitch that's like, he's just like, oh, I'm pulling it. I don't care. That's what I'm trying to do on this one. But he's absolutely transformed into a solid bat that can play in major league lineups and a lot of major league lineups and be a guy that this team desperately needs when it comes to the power. But Peyton, what's another stat that you got for us? We have done 3 so far. What's the 4th? Or at least give a tease for what the 4th could be before we head into break.
I think we're going to flip to the arms.
Oh, man, I forgot about the pitching. Because that's been the one thing that's been consistent for the Padres, at least sort of, all season long. At least with one guy that they traded a big-time prospect for. So that's
who we're talking about.
That's who we will be talking about. But first, folks, I know, not my best transition to the world, guys. My apologies. I'm a little rusty. What can I say? I stayed up late last night. But when it comes to Mason Miller and the rest of the pitching, there's a lot to be seen for sure. But first, folks, let me take a second to talk to one of our sponsors. That was our friends over at FanDuel. The biggest stage in world soccer is here, and every match feels like it has the potential for a memorable moment. One goal can completely change the energy of a game, shift momentum, and alter the outcome in an instant. That's what makes tournament soccer so exciting, from the opening whistle to the final kick. Now, FanDuel is giving another reason for fans to stay locked into every match with every goal pays. Bet on a match and get bonus bets for every goal scored in that match. More goals means more bets. All you have to do is turn on your token. From the opening whistle to the final kick, let there be goals on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com to get started now. And also, when it comes to ED, it is way more common than most guys think, and millions of men deal with it at some point. HIMS thankfully offers a simple, convenient way to take care of your health by connecting you with licensed healthcare providers online and giving you access to personalized treatment options from the comfort of your home. No awkward appointments, no pharmacy lines, just a straightforward process designed to make getting care easier. Taking care of yourself shouldn't feel complicated, and HIMS makes the process private and easy to navigate. It's healthcare built around your schedule and your comfort. To get simple online access to personalized, affordable care for ED, hair loss, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/lockedonmlb. That's hims.com/lockedonmlb for your free online visit. Prescription required. See website for details and important safety information. Sildenafil is the generic version of Viagra, and Viagra is a registered trademark of Viatris Specialty LLC. Hims is not affiliated with or endorsed by Viatris. But again, hims.com, HIMS.com/lockedonmlb. Go check it out. And just like that, everybody, the waning moments of this podcast, but that does not mean our will is waning whatsoever when it comes to giving you guys the big stats. Let's talk about pitching, Peyton. We've done 3 on offense. 2 were depressing. 2 were depressing. 1 was just weird and bizarre. And then the 4th one, what do you got for us when it comes to the pitching side of things for baseball, or the Padres baseball too?
So, I will say this stat is somewhat fragile, obviously, because we're halfway through the season, but I found it interesting nonetheless, is that the fact that right now opponents have a 449 OPS against the Padres in the 9th inning, and that would be the lowest in MLB history if that holds. Obviously, Mason Miller is the reason why it's like that, but you have to show love to some other relievers as well. Yeah. Morhone is locked in. Like you're like, it's not just a Mason Miller stat, even though it's really easy to see it like that. But I mean, the reason why the Padres are a few games over 500 and only half a game out of, a wild card spot, despite the fact that they're genuinely, the offense is the worst in baseball, is the bullpen, and specifically the bullpen in the 9th inning.
Yeah. I mean, that's been the story all season long. And what's funny is that, you have your Jeremiah Stratas who've struggled at points and have been a little bit injured. You have your Yuki Matsuis coming in, getting huge whiffs, especially on their split fingers and all that sort of stuff. And you have, of course, Mason Miller striking out more than half of batters faced this year. And I like this as well, is that Mason Miller's slider, in terms of every pitch by all qualified pitchers in Major League Baseball, has the highest whiff rate, 59.1%. Which is really just a funny thing to say out loud. And it's also one of only 2 pitches in baseball with a hard hit rate lower than 10%. If you guys are curious, the other one is Emerson Hancock Sweeper, which has like a 8% hard hit rate. Amazing numbers. And also, shout out to me. I told y'all the Padres should have tried to trade for him like 2 years ago. But When it comes to the Padres bullpen, Mason Miller makes all the headlines, but it's contributions from guys like Yuki Matsui. I understand some of those guys might not keep it up. Jason Adam has a really high FIP. I get that. But when it comes to just winning games so far, the talent is there, so it's very believable that the Padres bullpen has been this good. And at least for now, well, I still have my qualms, have my issues with the Leo DeVries trade, because I'm scared that they might not have enough assets to improve the team going forward. When it comes to just in a vacuum, oh man, Mason Miller's worth that and a lot more. And I know you were on the Just Baseball show a while ago talking about like at what Mason Miller's so good that you wonder at what point do you take a starting pitcher? Like what is the worst starting pitcher that you take instead of Mason Miller? And I don't know. Maybe it's like it's like the person right above Jack. Jack Flaherty has been bad.
Jesus,
I don't know. Yeah,
well, that wasn't an answer, but I guess. But no. Before the season, I think I said the cutoff point for me was Fromber. I think it's easily Miller now. I think Miller's you're taking him over Fromber, but I really don't know. And I think that's a philosophical question, right? And I think the Padres are seeing what happens when you have an auto win, essentially. I know it hasn't been technically automatic, but the fact that they're locking down the ninth inning at a rate that, imagine the Nationals had Mason Miller, right? Nationals just blew 3 games in a row. They have 24 blown saves this year.
Yeah.
The Nationals would be the second best team in the National League if they had Mason Miller.
Yeah.
One player.
Exactly.
Right? That's one player. Right. And I think the impact Miller can directly have on winning, I know the team for 8 innings gets them to that point. It's hard to quantify, I feel like, when we're talking about analytics and stuff. But I think an interesting thing on top of that is that with the emergence of Miller and the bullpen and all that stuff, the Padres have the 2026 Padres are just the most expensive version of the Cleveland Guardians, where you have the worst offense in baseball. Sorry, talent-wise, they're not. But I'm just saying, statistically speaking, least amount of runs, 87 WRC plus, worst in baseball. You have the worst offense in baseball. The pitching staff, the rotation is, whatever. Like there's
surviving.
It's like there's some good production, but it's not necessarily guys you'd say are top 15 pitchers in baseball. Similar thing with the Guardians in recent years. And then you have the bullpen of gods. Obviously, they had Clase, so that's, we saw what happened with that. Cade Smith, Tim Herron, Hunter Gaddis. That team was so good because of the bullpen. The Padres are that right now, but they spent $300 million more to get there.
Hey, well, all I'll say is history says if you're not in the top half of payroll, you ain't win the World Series. So Guardians fans, you can suck it. I don't care. Maybe we'll vibe our way through spending. I'm not kidding. Go check out the last 33 years of baseball. The only 3 teams that have done it. And one of them had Miguel Cabrera, which might have helped a little bit.
That's a really funny spin zone. Yeah, we're gonna throw. No, we're just a worker.
Exactly. That's what we are. We're reverse Moneyball. Get that nonsense propaganda out of here.
We're gonna be the fun analytics team, roster construction wise, with how the guys are playing, but we're gonna just pay our workers. We're actually just really cool.
Yeah, we're really cool. We're really rad. San Diego, but I'm just saying, past 33 years, it's only been 3 winners of the World Series outside the top half. I'm just saying. I've been talking on the show forever, so I cannot wait to win something maybe perhaps with our friends at FanDuel with someone who bets the Brewers round 1 this year, because I have won every year for the past 5 years every time I bet against them. It's not happening. Sorry guys, not happening. But last stat, Peyton. Let's close this thing out. What do you got for us on the pitching end of things? And then I got a couple bonus things to make fun of some Padres.
Okay, so this last one isn't quite pitching. It's back to the offense, but this number just was really weird to me. The San Diego Padres have 9 hits against split finger fastballs this year. They're batting 101 against splitters. That is the worst in baseball, easily. Like I don't think
how many of those strikeouts are from Machado is what I want to know, because good God, if it's like him, I bet it would be like Ty France a little bit. They have these moments where it's like they didn't. One of my best friends, he in Little League, this is a little bit of a tangent, not in Little League, it was in high school, that their team was terrible. right? Our team was bad. We're not one of those places where guys, grow up and they go to a good college and go to the majors, right? Shout out Morristown. But it was really funny that they would go up, and he said at one point their coach just snapped on them because no one cared. They knew the team was bad. They're just there for vibes or whatever. It's high school. And at some point, the coach just snapped at that. He's like, none of you guys go up there prepared. You just take your 3 hacks and you leave or whatever. And they quoted to each other 3 hacks and leave. Like there was a fantasy team in our league just called 3 hacks and leave for a long time. Unfortunately, the San Diego Padres have that vibe sometimes where they just go up there and they're like, woof, woof. Dang.
What's that?
It's
that Looney Tunes clip of like Bugs Bunny just he keeps swinging and missing or whatever.
Yeah, he swings. It's like the ball, like, or it's like the Charlie Brown where they swing and then the ball stops right before it gets there. They swing, then the ball comes in or whatever. It's like it is a maddening team to watch, and it is again why I alluded to potentially Steven Souza might get the axe at some point this season. There's just been too many underperformances. I know they've played better lately. We'll see how things shake up.
So I have the number.
All-Star break.
I have the number. Just to be clear. So 9 hits, 89 at bats, 40 strikeouts, 44% strikeout rate against split finger fastballs. The San Diego Padres have 9 hits against splitters. Pete Armstrong himself has 8. So I think there's clearly a pitch that this team just doesn't like. To be fair, most hitters don't like off-speed pitches. It's kind of an annoying pitch to adjust for. With spin, at least, it could be a hanger. There's
especially these days with the high velo and all that.
Splitters are gross. No one hits splitters. But
yeah,
that's very bad. A 101 average.
You got to do better than that. And let me tell you, the Padres in general, speaking of average, a couple bonus stats for you guys before we leave out. Oh, yeah, we're bringing him up. Freddie Fermin, the Ferminator. Freddie Fermin's batting average this year is 105 points lower than his career average, which we alluded to in the first segment. That's going to be a conversation in the offseason. Why is it that everyone gets worse when they join the Padres organization? And that batting average is only 8 points higher than Joe Musgrove when he was last a hitter in 2021. First of all, yeah, Freddie Fermin. We talked about this on previous episodes this week. You guys can go check it out when I talked about, does it look good that they've called up these young guys and they've looked a lot better, or Brandon Valenzuela, who they traded for Will Wagner, whatever. Then you also look at Freddie Fermin and you say, Peyton, remember when we were like, yeah, this is fun? Remember when the old heads were like, yeah, having hitters is cool. It's different. You know why? Because I see the highlight of the game that I didn't actually watch afterwards in which the pitcher got the hit. Still annoyed that was a conversation. I know it's like kind of that meme, the Japanese World War II soldier is still fighting, but I still complain about this to this day. No, everyone agrees with me, but I'm still mad that people are upset.
Listen, pitchers hit 20. It was cool once a month.
Yeah, literally, that was it. And and this one, dare I say this even, because I can understand casual fans, especially fans who are like American League fans who don't know what it's like being like, cool, I get to watch my pitcher take 3 strikes. Dude, when people bring up, but the strategy, what's the strategy? If there's a runner on base, they bunt. If there's not, they just watch the pitch go down. Then what's the strategy?
Also, I want you to think about this. Especially.
Yeah.
Can you just fathom? I remember. I think it was Tanner Rainey. I might have the name wrong. I'm sorry. Okay. It was the Nationals pitcher. It was Tanner Roark.
Roark, yeah. There we go.
My bad. Tanner Roark. 1 year, he held pitchers to like a 0 batting average in that National League, right? But like a lot of those outs came with 2 outs and runners in scoring position and stuff. And I was just thinking, imagine he had to face David Ortiz instead.
Yeah.
His ERA would be a run higher.
That was the other thing. Remember that stretch when all the best pitchers were the National League? You know why? Because they got a free out every 9 batters. That's not the only reason. Clayton Kershaw's still good.
I know, but it is funny. Like they're just facing noticeably worse lineups because of that.
It always the strategy. But when are you going to pinch hit for him? Yeah, if he's 4 innings and doing well, you don't pitch hit for him. Like this isn't that deep, guys. It's like saying, do we go for it on 4th down when we're down by 7? And we need 8 points. Yeah, you go for it on 4th down. Like, yeah, obviously. Like, there's just, I hated that conversation so much. And if we keep talking about it, this episode will be 50 minutes. Last thing, though, that I want to bring up, the funniest stat that my best friend still throws in front of my face. The Padres are 7-23 against the Philadelphia Phillies, since they're infamous. That's what's in video. Here's the thing that annoys me. Because sometimes it's easy to make fun of old people and be like, that's cringe or whatever. You know what annoys me? Is that they were contacted by different stations and they said, you got to come back on. Let's undo the curse. Fun bit, right? Everyone should make fun of themselves. I once said that Trent Grisham would finish top 10 in MVP, and I make fun of myself all the time for that. For the record, I said this in like 2021. But yeah, like it was tough. It was tough. Right against that season, I was so convinced off of 2020, and I think we got to do an episode of just bad takes following the 2020 season, because there's some people like over that small sample size.
My favorite one, just sorry, quick. My favorite one is, you can still find the link, MLB.com, top 10 pitchers in baseball entering 2021. They unironically had Dinelson Lamet in that list.
Whoa, wait, hold on. He got hurt, though. Leave Dinelson Lamet alone. He got hurt. He got hurt. Stop it. He barely had an arm anymore. And literally, I'm not even making this up. He like forgoed Tommy John surgery. So I'm just saying, at least there was a reason for it. I'm still saying. Worse is like, I don't know, Cal Quantrill or something like that, believing that he was some stud or anything like that. But just really, really funny with all that going on. I don't know what to say. It's just, it could just be painful out here, man. And they said no, and they wouldn't come back on to undo the curse. And there's 7 to 23 cents. Bryce is cruising. I'll tell you that much. He is cruising these days. They weren't wrong about that. But Peyton, this has been a blast. If you have anything to plug for the good people, go right ahead and do so.
Yeah, I mean, if you enjoyed me, thank you. I post daily on TikTok and Instagram at Big League Analysis. 1 to 2, maybe 3-minute videos of just, some good old fashioned statistical stuff. I know I'm not as good at hobby at doing ads. You're natural, but yeah, no. If you like me, that's where you follow me.
Seriously, good stuff. He did a funny video on Jazz Chisholm having the weirdest weekend I've ever seen from a baseball player. Go check that out and stuff. Big League Analysis, Instagram, and TikTok. For this show, remember to go write in your questions. Email lockdownpadres@gmail.com. You can also leave comments on this video or any other video, and I'll check them out. And I imagine there are going to be a lot of Dodgers fans if the Padres lose this weekend. And if the Padres win this weekend, it's going to be no Dodgers fans talking. Or actually, they might even talk even louder. I don't know. But we will see. Either way, send me your questions, whatever they are. Sometimes I even answer stuff about movies when I'm bored. Go check that out, guys. Go check out Just Baseball as well. Those are the 5 stats to describe the Padres season. Until next time, you've listened to Peyton and myself. Stay faithful as always, and stay safe. My Friar Faithful homies, take care.